Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel Camzine. In previous we have learned dyeing, history of dyeing and types of dyeing and dyes. Now in this section I will discuss direct dye, properties of direct dyeing and classification of direct dyeing. So what are direct dyes? Direct dyes are the dyes that was introduced for the first time in the history. It has sustainability in cotton fiber, so that's why it is also called direct cotton color or DDC. In it, no modern is needed before the application of direct dyes. In my previous section, I have discussed about mordant. Mordant are the chemical substances that are used for the fixation of dyes on the fiber or fabric. That's why it has good features including a cheaper and easiest process to deal with the given fabric. Direct dyes were replaced by natural dyes, and natural dyes need mordant before the application to the cotton fabric. Chemically, all direct dyes are azo dyes. Azo are the organic group that are used in dyes and have some sulfonic group that help to soluble in water. The chromophores are also present in direct dyes. Chromophores are the group that is a part of molecule and responsible for colors. These groups are azo group, which is azide, stilbene, oxazine, and phthalocyanine. Properties of direct dyes. Direct dyes have some optimum conditions. These optimum conditions have variations. Boiling point. The dyeing process takes place near or the boiling point. So round about between the 100 or near about 200 Celsius. The dyeing process takes place in the presence of electrolytes such as sodium chloride and sodium sulfate. Wash fastness. The wash fastness of direct dyes is varying, ranging from poor to slightly good. Therefore, they are used in those processes and fabric which was where the wash fastness is compromised. Light fastness. The light fastness of these dyes is also varying, ranging from poor to good. But there are some direct dyes in which copper metal complex is present, therefore enhancing the light fastness of these dyes. These dyes are also called substantive color dyes because the fabric is made up of cellulose and shows an excellent affinity for direct dyes. The solubility of direct dyes decreases with the increases in molecular weight. Direct dyes can easily implemented on cellulose fabric, for example linen, jute and viscose. So the classification of direct dyes. As described earlier, direct dyes show variation in their reactivity, but there is an important point which tells us that direct dyes have the same composition in their chemical structures, show variation in their applications and their fastness activities. It was explained by Society of Dyers and Colorists, which is SDC. According to the Society of Dyers and Colorists, dyes are characterized by following principles. Leveling ability. Dyes are classified on the basis of their leveling ability. Response. They are classified on the basis of their response to increase in dyeing temperature and the salt that is added during the exhausting period. Class 8 direct dyes or STC Class 8 direct dyes. This class of dyes have good leveling power and excellent migration in presence of salt. Sustainability or substantivity. Due to lower substantivity, these dyes require some more amount of electrolytes that help in exhaustion. They are well soluble in water due to their lower molecular weight, so that's why they do not accumulate. These dyes started their process at 50 Celsius and boiled in bath for 30 to 45 minutes, and dyeing process continue for an hour. As these dyes give better exhaustion at lower temperature, but on the basis of depth and liquor ratios, the addition of salts occur in order to get better exhaustion. So what is exhaustion? Exhaustion is actually the portion of dye absorbed by the fiber in relation to that remaining in the dye path. SDC Class B direct dyes. Class B direct dyes are shock sensitive dyes, which means they can detonate due to heat, friction, and air. Sustainability or substantivity. It varies from lower to moderate, and they can exhaust well in the absence of salt. Leveling property. They have very poor leveling properties. Exhaustion rate or exhaustion. By adding salt, the exhaustion rate increases and perform well than that of class A direct dyes. Requirement of salt. So these dyes do not require any type of salt. But in the start of dyeing process, in initial steps, they do not require any salt, but class A types of dyes require salt. Their mechanism is similar to mechanism of class A dyes, but their molecular weight is higher than that of class A direct dyes. SDC Class C direct dyes. Class C direct dyes are salt sensitive and have poor migrating power. Leveling. Leveling power is controlled by gradually increase in the temperature in a bath. It means the temperature is increased by gradient, one by one. For example, 5, 10, 15, and 20 in a minute or in a 60 seconds. With the passage of time, they may require more salt in form addition and some leveling agents. Exhaustion. And the dyeing process started without the presence of salts, but by increasing the temperature constantly, it required exhaustion and this need is done by the requirement of salt in the middle of the process. So exhaustion is maintained or increased by the addition of some salts. Sensitivity. These dyes are very sensitive, and while adding some salt at lower temperature, so sensitivity increases. As discussed earlier, that class C direct dyes are very salt sensitive. So by adding very small amount of salt at lower temperature, they show more sensitivity. Because the aggression of these dyes can occur, it is due to the interruption of exhaustion at lower temperature, so it is difficult to penetrate the cellulose pores of the fabric. Conclusion. The sustainability or substantivity of direct dyes increases when we move from A to C. It means that when we move from A to C types of dyes, substantivity increases in the given order. The reason why the substantivity increases from A to C, the reason is that it is because the molecular weight of these dyes increases. Lowering of the number of sulfonate groups, lowering the exhausting power of dyes per molecule. So it is reported that exhausting power of dye per molecule may be lowered by lowering the number of sulfonate groups. So it is reported that the washing and light fastness of class C direct dyes is the best than that of class A and class B direct dyes. Thanks for watching.